Hey Leamons, welcome back to another video of mine. So if you're watching this video, you're either here because you want to know about an animated episode that I regret making, or you actually know about the animated episode, have watched it, and are wondering what happened to it. Also, the episode I made was for a story I created for Animal Jam, and I called it Swap, which stands for Sealed with a Phantom. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the episode, how I totally did not plan it out whatsoever. Like, I did not plan it out or make it understandable for my actors. I did not plan out my script very well. I did not plan out the characters and their backgrounds, a lot of adding things last minute to the story, and so much more. And making my episode was so challenging, and it took so long, and I'm not here to say that I hate it, or even dislike it for that matter. Because honestly, I'm still proud to this day that I was able to create something like Swap. Even if my art has improved a bunch, even if I totally did not have a full set plan for the story and episode back then, I still watch it and feel proud because it was hard work and it was a goal of mine at the time. But I regret making it so early on, and that's what I'll be discussing. I'm Leamon Puppy, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started with the video. So I made this episode way too early on, and I had no clue what I was even doing. I didn't have much experience with creating characters, I'm gonna be honest. Some of the Swap characters' designs were very meh to me, but I can't change them now. I'm not a fan of Rosie's colors, but ain't much I can do about it now. I don't like her yellow, tan, and gray scheme I gave her, and because of this I branded up her yellow to make it more interesting, although I still don't really like it for some reason. I like Master, but he's all different shades of gray and has no contrasting colors to make him unique. If I were to design him now, I would add blue elements to his color scheme. Lucky is alright. I had to change him to a lynx from a snow leopard due to how I designed him. He didn't even look like a snow leopard, so by making his tail short, he resembled a lynx way more, and I thought it was a better fit. Prince's design looks fine to me. Again, kinda boring, and I wish I made his eyes more of a unique color, but whatever, he's alright. His phantom form king, on the other hand, well, I'm not sure. I just don't like this design. I don't like the colors I used for him. I regret them, quite frankly, because I can't change them now. He just looks bad to me. Hazy's design is good. I really like the pink and purple colors I used. Adding a teal color for the eyes might have made her more interesting and intriguing, but I don't regret what she looks like. And then there's obviously Princess, who is also my main mascot of the channel. I don't have any issues with her design. I like her white scheme since she's based on a harp seal, so it makes sense. I like her black bow and spike, and I like that at least I gave her colors in her eyes to make her stand out more as a character. If she just had black eyes like her items, she would have been so boring. And funny enough, around the time I was working on Swap, I wanted to change her eyes to just black. I'm so glad I never did that, that would have been awful. But I like her design, so I don't really regret her character. But that's another thing, she's a character in Swap, but she's also my main mascot on the channel. It gets very confusing, if I'm being honest. Like, half the time I want to call her Leamon, since that's my channel name, but then I also want to call her Princess, since that's her name in the story I made for her. It's hard to defer the two names at times. But again, I can't just go back now and call her Leamon. Some people know her as Princess, and you may ask me, why would I even call her Princess for Swap in the first place? Why not just give her the name Leamon back then if my channel was called Leamon Puppy back then? And my answer for that is, the way I chose my names for Animal Jam characters was by using the in-game selection the game provides you for your animals. Master, Prince, King, Rosie, Lucky, Hazy, those are all names that you can use for your Animal Jam animals. I honestly thought it would make the most sense to do that, and at the time it did. I mean, it was an Animal Jam story. So that's why she's called Princess for Swap, and why I also call her Leamon when I'm not referring to the story. So yes, confusing, but also not much I can do now. Another issue with making this episode early on was that I didn't have much experience with actually creating a story, an animation, or first episode. I want to point out dumb or cringy things in Swap's episode 1. So I drew Princess when she's in her phantom form with fur. Fur! I don't know why, but I used to sometimes draw phantoms with fur. Like, obviously Animal Jam phantoms do not have fur. That's like drawing a reptile with fur, which I also drew a reptile in the episode with fur too, by the way. I don't know why I did this. When people ask me, I just told them it's my art style, but that's not a very good excuse. I shouldn't have drawn them with fur. It doesn't make much sense unless they're supposed to have fur on its design for some specific reason. But otherwise, no. Why did I do this to my phantoms and reptiles? I showed that Princess turned into a bunny to hide from Hazy and the other bad phantoms, but why would she not just remain as this bunny? Why did she choose to become a seal when it's probably way harder to walk as a seal than it is bunny? In my comics, I made it clear that becoming an animal as a phantom, which you must be wearing a royal crown, is not a choice. You cannot choose the animal, you get what you get. And for Princess's case, she obviously got a seal first try, and I even made a joke about how she was even supposed to walk after she became the seal. But in this episode, it's just shown that she can become any animal she wants. And also, the way I drew the eye looks really weird. Really look at the top part and notice how there isn't a bottom part. It's so strange looking. Princess really wanted to go to Prince's party, which makes no sense. I don't even know how King/Prince has his own castle or den in Animal Jam World. He is a phantom. How did he change into an animal, come to Animal Jam, and somehow become rich so fast? In the story, Princess is still pretty new to the town, and she left the royal phantom family way before King even knew about it, so it doesn't make much sense. Princess also pressures Rosie to going to a party with her, which is kinda awful of Princess. Master has a super edgy moment, and I don't really like that. He's meant to be cool, calm, and collected, but instead he came off as some edgelord, the kind that would tell people it's not just a phase, and I don't like seeing Master like this. Something that confused me is that King has the Myra amulet at the start, and obviously Master has the Zeus amulet. That makes sense. But somehow within the time the party happens, Master steals the Myra amulet from King, and it is shown nowhere how he stole it. There isn't even a scene where Master somehow disappears for a bit to even give a bit of suspicion on how he would have stole it. He just has it by the end of the episode. And yes, that was meant to be a surprise or shock that he stole it from the party and now had both amulets, but it just came off as confusing as he literally had no opportunity to steal it at any point in the episode. So King says that he's busy and getting ready for tonight to Hazy, and I don't know what he's implying. He says, we are going to need everyone in Jamont Township for tonight's main event. Literally nothing happens. What main event? And same with Hazy. She has a moment where she's pep talking a bunch of phantoms and how they're going to do something to make King proud. But I never said what it is. What thing they're going to do to the animals that come to this party. And I'm the person who wrote the script and these scenes out, and I can fully tell you, I still don't know. I have no idea, so I assume I didn't know what bad thing they were planning on doing, even back then, so I just never specified it, which is terrible on my part. King gets mad at Hazy and tells her off for calling him King and not Prince, and I understand he's trying to hide under that new name, but it doesn't make much sense. No animals are even around at this point, so why would it matter if she called him King? He's just pretending to be Prince to do something, which again, I have no idea what he's gonna do. So wouldn't he actually prefer his real name for the times no one is around? Not a huge issue, but he was just confusing to me. So Master arrives at the party and somehow can sense the unbalanced power at the den, and it's fine, but how? How does he have the power to sense power? It doesn't make much sense, maybe from his amulet, but the episode doesn't specify that it gives him the power to do so. Rosie is mad that she came to the party since it's a rich animals den, but why? It doesn't explain her beef with the rich animals in this episode, so it comes off as her being really salty for no reason. I ended up writing Rosie as a way more interesting character with a lot of motives for backed up reasons, like things that she had gone through in the past. So that signs like her being jealous of an animal or the status actually would make sense. But that was after I wrote this episode, so for right now, she's just salty for the sake of it. Also, Princess ditched her after this, which again is awful of Princess. Master says the word damn in one scene, and honestly at the time I didn't realize that this word was even in the slightest of a bad one. So I thought nothing when creating this line. But a few people commented that they were surprised to hear the word, so I'm sorry, I guess. Something I just don't like and wish I changed was how I animated this one scene. Basically, Master's explaining how royal phantoms such as King can change their forms from phantom to animal. I just put a regular background on it as he explained how they would change, and it looked odd. I wish instead I did a thinking bubble or a white screen. I think that would have come off nicer. When Hazy says she can sense an animal nearby, why wouldn't Master just run off? Why does he have to choose to go and dance with Princess? Honestly, I think it's because a distraction would look better, but I wish somehow he told Princess that he was dancing with her just as a distraction, either at the end or while they were dancing. It would have made the scene more interesting and hopefully made Princess somewhat sad, which adds conflict. And honestly, she kind of deserves it. She's been an awful friend to Rosie. In this scene, Rosie says, I hope Princess doesn't talk to any strangers, and then Lucky literally comes up to Rosie right after, and she talks to him back normally, and they go off and dance, and I have no clue if I intended for this scene to be funny, or if it was just a perfectly timed coincidence. King literally took 2 steps and somehow arrived right in front of Princess and Master, and honestly, it's not that awful. Like, maybe he was already close, or he was on his way and just showed the 2 steps is the only thing you saw, but it looks absolutely hilarious to watch. Look at Master's face. That is all I have to say. Okay, so I used Pokemon sound effects and music in this episode because I didn't want it to get copyrighted, and I knew Pokemon was a safe franchise to use music and sounds from, although it's very weird hearing it in this episode, and quite frankly makes me laugh. So apparently Princess can turn phantoms back into their true form when they're hiding as animals, and I'm not sure how she would even possess this power. She doesn't even know how she has the power herself, and that's okay. To give a character a power that they aren't sure how they even have it, and it was her first time using that power, that is fine, and honestly, it's been used in a lot of media. But it doesn't make any sense how Princess would even be able to have that power to turn him back into a phantom. So I just wish I never gave her that power, is what I'm saying, I guess. Master teleporting everyone is a super cringy scene. I have nothing to say other than that. It's just the one scene that is actually mentally hard for me to watch, and half the time I skip it or look away. King says something along the lines of, I had a feeling Master would show up to this party after, they teleport away. But what? King literally saw Master when he was there as Prince, and I know that he was trying to pretend to be an animal so he couldn't do much, but he could have done something, like told a phantom to get him or something. He just did nothing, but just asked to dance with Princess. The only thing I could maybe think of is maybe he was trying to just get him away from Princess, so then the phantoms could attack him. That's my only real thought. I honestly don't remember. This run sequence that Master does when leaving Princess and Rosie is actually some of the best content I've ever seen. The quality drops severely for Master's line at the end, and you want to know why? Because I did it. I lowered my voice just to sound like Master's voice actor. I added the scene last minute, and that's why the voice sounds different and awful quality. My voice lines for Princess sound good, and obviously I make videos, so it's not that I can't record. I was just scrambling to get this last minute scene done, and the voice actor for Master went inactive, and I had to do it all by myself. So yeah, kinda bad on my part. And that's it for the dumb or cringy things in Swap Episode 1. The only few things I've written before this were random stories for Pokemon characters of mine, and one of those stories in particular wasn't the best in the market. Well, if you have seen that video, you already know. But basically, I didn't have much good story or writing skills before creating Swap. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you have to wait until you have good drawing or writing skills before creating something, because if you say that and follow by it, you'll never learn how to draw or write, and you'll just wait and never get good in the process. So that's not what I'm trying to say. Not exactly. Let me explain. I just feel like this was such a huge production of mine at the time. I got actors and posted that I was going to make an episode everywhere. It wasn't just some writing or drawing project for me to enjoy. I fully planned to post it on my YouTube for my subscribers to watch. So creating it without the right experience wasn't the best idea. And I realize that now, especially because I intended on making a few more episodes. It ended at episode 1 and I haven't made one since, but I was going to make an episode 2 at the time. But I never had any more episodes, not even a second one for that matter. And you want to know why? The dreaded reason, literally my subscribers have been asking me why I haven't made an episode for years. The reason why is because I had no clue what to do after episode 1 ended. Sure, I could write something random, make some random nonsense up, but I kept hitting brick walls when trying to do that. Oh yeah, that's right. You think I didn't try to? I actually was at a point where I was writing for episode 2, and I finished it. That's right. I have it as far as the voice acting. I just didn't actually put the lines together and edited the voices, music, and sound effects. But after reading episode 2 and listening to the acting, I just felt like it wasn't good enough. It didn't make sense. Not the acting, by the way. The acting was great. Just hearing the lines I created made me feel like the story didn't make sense. Episode 1 and 2 together did not clash well. They did not make sense, so I never edited it and animated it into episode 2. It was never created. Maybe there is some parallel universe where Swap episode 2 was actually created. Who knows? Half of me is joking here, but it's kind of possible. But anyways, that's what happened and why I never made a second episode. And I've been working on animation memes for the story and comics for the story, and I've created a way better story than what episode 1 is. If I had the chance to rewrite a first episode for Swap, it would be way different from what I made back then. Technically, I made it just before September 30th, 2020, since that's when I posted it, and it's currently September 4th, 2022, so almost 2 years since I made it and posted the episode. It's crazy to think I even created an animation episode in the first place. That's a hard thing to do, although I can't say I don't regret making it so early on, but unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Swap episode 1 is up and posted on my channel, and it's staying up there. I'm not going to take it down no matter how much I cringe when I watch it. because as much as I cringe, it's also amazing that I even created it. But that's all I had to talk about in this video. Please drop a comment and let me know if you have seen Swap or not, and if you liked it. Also, you can be honest and tell me if you did think it was cringy. I will not be offended, as I also see it as cringe in certain scenes too. And if I were to create an episode now, I wouldn't say it'd be perfect. It would also probably have a lot of cringy moments too. But I do believe I have improved somewhat on my art and writing skills over time of creating Swap. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and leave a like as it really does help my channel out. It's been Leamon Puppy, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys all next time.